Please.
Okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Elk Lodge podcast. Hey, we have 99 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're not subscribed, just click it. Give us 100. We just want that triple dig,
That'll be nice. That'll feel good.
And if you are subscribed, you probably already know this show is brought to you by Hexa Coffee. We literally drink this stuff every day. Like you get up earlier than me, and so my day sort of starts smelling the coffee. Just
You're welcome.
go through the house. Yeah, it's really nice. And then you take most of it with you, and I get the little bit left.
Every man for themselves. But actually, there is plenty to go around, and you can get all the coffee you need for your whole household,
That's
all
right.
at hexacoffee.com. Use promo code ELK for 10% off your total purchase, and then everybody wins.
Great stocking stuffer this year, too.
Yeah, definitely.
A nice bag of coffee, for the coffee drinker in your family. Today on the show, we have Alxndrbrwn, a music producer whose new album, Glow Kid, is available now. Features Sage Francis, Buck 65, Swell. Dear friend of mine, Nelson Stowe, is on a track. And it's really good. It's an amazing record.
It's like quite a ride. It's a journey. It's awesome.
Yeah,
really
so go check
it
it out, stream it everywhere, and enjoy it. And enjoy this conversation with Brown. We had a lot of fun catching up and talk about old times.
Yeah, it was a sweet chat. Enjoy.
Bye.
How you doing, Brown?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Brown, this is Christine.
I'm Christine. Hey.
Yeah. Nice to finally meet you.
Nice
Christine.
to meet you too. Thank you for staying up late, maybe on the East Coast and hanging out with us a little bit.
Yeah. No problem. No problem. My been having a bad day with my joints today.
Oh no.
Your joints.
Everything's achy.
Getting old. Yeah. My knees, my ankles. The weather's changing, so it's getting cold.
That saying, like, feel it in my bones. I understand what it means now too. It's
Does that happen like every winter for you? There's
Every
pains,
winter.
but it just gets worse and worse every year?
Yeah. It, like keeps me up. It like a. like the devil is breathing on my ankles. Like.
Wow.
oh no. Were you like an athlete? Is that part of the wear and tear, or this is just general tread on the tires or whatever?
Yeah. I grew up playing ice hockey,
Nice.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
and then
Makes sense. You're an East Coast guy. Y'all
Right.
play hockey,
and he's
don't
a
you?
skateboarder too.
Yeah,
Cool.
ice hockey, soccer, and skate. I skateboarded most of my life. That's what I thought I was going to do. I thought I was going to skateboard for the rest of my life.
Pro skateboarding. That was the dream.
Nice.
That was it. That was it.
So-
I gave up on school. I gave up on
Wow.
everything. It's like, well, are we going to go to school today, guys, or are we going to go skate Philly? Go to Philly.
I mean, let's get our priorities straight here. I'm not going to be a pro student, I'm going to be a pro skateboarder.
Yeah, like,
At
I
that point,
suck-
was it like skate parks, or when you say skate the city, you were just kind of riding on anything you could?
we were skating everywhere where we weren't supposed to be. and FDR Park.
Cool. All right.
FDR. Franklin. Old Frankie D.
So wait, how many bones have you broken over the years? How many?
I've never broken any bones.
Same.
Wow.
Cool. All
not say
that
the
time.
same.
So what was the worst injury you got playing hockey?
I chipped my tooth.
Yeah, dental stuff.
That's a bone, pal. All right. Oh. It's kind of. Wait, is there like it filled in or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay,
If
gotcha.
you get real close to it, you can see it.
You can see like the difference or whatever in the enamel.
The different.
So if the
tone.
dream in high school was skating, when did music come around for you? Brown is a music producer, awesome hip hop music producer. Like really, I don't know. I mean, I showed you that one tape and
Yeah, I listened last night. It was so dope. Actually, I really liked it.
yeah, it's dreamy. So, but anyway, when did when did
We'll
music
talk more
come
about
up? Yeah, we'll get to that.
like 5th grade.
Early
Great.
days.
guitar, and then I did like a talent show when I was a little kid, and I didn't like it. So I was like, I don't ever want to do that again. Like, I don't ever want to be. I always knew that I wanted to do something with music, but when I did that, I knew that wasn't it. Like,
Performance is not the goal.
performance and being in front of people like that, yeah, like I couldn't do that. But later on, I figured out that, like, hey, there's people behind the scenes engineering and putting it all together and this and that really struck a chord with me. So I looked into engineering and went to school in Florida for engineering.
Which is how you guys met.
Yeah, we didn't meet in school, but that's what brought us both to Orlando. And then it was through knowing JC that I met Brown.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Thanks for the context.
Yeah.
Yep. So I went to school for engineering. Like, beats were never in the plan, although like I was inspired by a lot of different producers. I didn't have anything to mix. Like, I didn't have like bands like giving me the opportunity to like try out mixing on their music or anything. So I just made beats to have something to mix on.
Like to practice mixing.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
And then that's how that progressed. And then I met JC.
How cool.
Nelson through skateboarding.
Hold on a second. I'm not recording your video right now. This is terribly unprofessional of me. Hold on, everybody.
No.
Jesus Christ.
I thought it just recorded all at once.
Well, I'm recording the audio separately through my board over here.
Recording in progress.
Now your video is recording.
Okay.
So, okay.
Oh,
Sorry, it's been a wild day. Okay, so now people can see you. We'll leave in what was there, and I apologize that you didn't get to see Brown until now, but look at this beautiful boy. Now, this is the man behind the voice that's been talking to you for the last 2 minutes. Okay, so you started making beats just to have something to practice your mixing.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then like Sage and this artist Prolific, back in the day, they did like a remix contest, and they would put out their acapella for the song, and I downloaded the acapella to like have something to practice producing over. And then it kept going from there. I met JC, I met Nelson skateboarding. We were filming some TV show thing called The Edge. And then that's when they were like, "Oh, you make beats?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then they like, even though they were all probably really trash, they would tell me like, "Oh, these are great." Like, let's, and that's how it like started. Like, it was just us having fun. Like, I'm making these terrible beats and they're rapping on them, and then it was just
you became like the primary producer for Not Them, which was JC's group. Did you do like the ramen song and like things like that, or that you came later, or that was just other producers?
I was still there. It was just other producers. Like,
right. So you weren't the exclusive producer, but you were you were the number one homie.
I was just a friend and a producer at the same time,
And a skater boy.
And a skater boy. That's right.
Yeah,
It's really a great trifecta there.
Yeah, it's the perfect combination.
So, I'm curious about like what you were listening to back then. What are you listening to now? I'd kind of love to hear a little bit into your musical world, influence-wise.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess influence-wise would be like Sage Francis, Alias. I really loved this dude Emancipator's work. A lot of random things, like Carmen got me into Explosions in the Sky.
I love Explosions. Yeah. Like when you were playing guitar, were you learning guitar songs? Like who were you listening to then?
Yeah, when I was a kid, I would like listen to everything and then just learn how to play it.
And
like
everything being like Blink-182, Nirvana, like just kind of everything that was going on.
All the really like popular songs that were really easy to play.
Right.
I would just learn that stuff.
Uh-huh.
I think the hardest song that I learned how to play was the CKY song called Testing.
Okay.
And it was
I
just
don't
like,
know that one. I only know the 96 Quite Bitter Beings, which is a great guitar riff as well.
yeah, I learned that one too. But the Testing one was like the hard one for me. Have you ever seen Artosari's part in the S video? I believe he skates to the Testing song.
Okay. I don't know it enough. If I ever saw it, I don't remember. Artosari is a skateboarder.
I've got lots to check out.
Yeah. So when did this moment that it clicks to you like, oh, there's other people like working on this and having their hands in this and that this is like a production, like when did your awareness of that start?
I guess pre-college, and then I went down to Florida and took a tour of Full Sail, and then it opened my mind up to like, oh, there's so many different roles in audio. And I was like, well, this is where I want to be, so I'm just going to be here. And then I went to school and learned about everything, and so the journey began. And then I ended up being in LA with you guys, and then I interned with Dark Child.
Right. Like so when Brown, we all lived at the island together. You've heard many tales of the island. Brown was living there too, and Brown was like the only one actually working. Like we were like, we're gonna be like, we're all gonna be famous and we're gonna kick ass and we're gonna be like have careers in entertainment or whatever. But Brown's the only one that like went out and got an actual job in entertainment. Like we were all just like,
made no money.
You made no money. Yeah, but you at least were in the industry. Somewhere. Like you were at least in the room. We were just at home getting high, like just goofing off, Plotting. Yeah, we did a lot of thinking, but you were doing it. But he interned with Dark Child, who produced. I mean, what's his catalog?
He's produced anything from like Michael Jackson to like classic shit like Brandy and Monica, The Boy Is Mine, Justin Bieber, the As Long As You Love Me song, Sam Smith, Stay With Me.
I loved that one.
Yeah, wow.
He's done a lot of shit.
Yeah, he's a giant producer.
Yeah, wow.
Telephone song from Lady Gaga and Beyonce.
Which one?
A song called Telephone.
Yes, of course.
So I was there for a while, and I left that, and actually right around then is when I started noticing weird things with my ear. Like my ears started feeling funny, and I never really talked about it. But then, like, I went on tour a couple of times, DJing for friends, Cap, shout out to Cap, John Connor, and then Precise. And then after that, we were working with Connor at Dr. Dre's studio, and then that's when it happened. I got tinnitus in my ears.
What's that?
Now, tinnitus is like this annoying.
Isn't it tinnitus pronounced?
I always thought it was tinnitus, but my ENT doctor corrected me and said tinnitus.
Wow, okay. Tinnitus. Nice. I like that better.
But yeah, tinnitus is this really annoying ringing in your ear. And it ranges from like high pitched ringing to like hums to like you hear your heartbeat to you hear the blood rushing through your body.
Whoa.
It's like a permanent ear damage. Basically, like there's hair follicles in your ear that like vibrate, and that's what you're like processing and like converting into like the information of what the sound is. And those, correct me if I'm wrong, but those follicles get damaged, and some of them get, and that's like permanent damage. And so now there's like they're just kind of stuck down or they're broken or something, and so you're not able to hear all the frequencies, and they'll just ring. It's just a constant ringing in your ear.
That sounds pretty terrible.
And it's crazy too, because sometimes like I'll go to sleep at night and then I'll think I'm hearing birds chirping, or like I think I hear someone in my ear going, "Hey, hey."
I don't think that's tinnitus. That might be something else.
I mean, it could be something else stemming from that because a lot of other things stemmed from it, like PTSD from when I was a kid, like came back, and so then now I'm like dealing with that plus that, and they're fighting against each other because stress is really bad for tinnitus. It makes it worse.
That makes sense.
Stress. I swear.
Stress just
It's like the
sucks, though.
most toxic thing we
I
do.
know.
We
And
all
we're
have
just-
so much of it.
Swimming in it.
What are your like stress management habits and tools? What do you got up your sleeve?
Breathing and making music.
Nice. Yeah.
Oddly, the thing that like hurt my ear too and makes it better.
The remedy is also the poison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little hair of the dog that bit you kind of a thing.
The worst thing about it is the pressure, like when it's ringing, but you're in a crowded area where there's noise and you don't notice the ringing, you feel the pressure, and then it gives you a headache.
It's almost like going to the bottom of the deep end of the pool, like that kind of a pressure.
Yeah, and it's just like
Ugh.
you know, I gotta wear my earplugs so that I can at least hear the ringing and not hear everything else going on.
Yeah. Damn,
Man,
dude.
it's like sound pollution you're picking up on.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you were at Dark Child or working with Dark Child, like who all did you personally kind of see come through there? Like, were you working with Lady Gaga and people like that?
I never saw Lady Gaga. I worked with Cassie, Britney Spears, Jermaine Jackson came through. We were doing like a Pitbull song with I don't know who. I think it was Nick Cannon.
What about Mace? Can you tell your Mace story?
Oh,
I just remembered that.
I don't know if I could tell that.
All right. We'll save it for after the show. I'll tell you. Brown's got a crazy story about when Mace was at the studio.
Traumatizing situation. I mean, it wasn't Mace.
It wasn't
someone-
Mace. Yeah, Mace was not the traumatizer, but it was the day
Mace
he was there.
awesome.
Yeah,
Mace
okay.
was. He was a cool dude.
Suspense.
Yeah. But okay, anyway, well, so then you went to like, because for me, there was a moment I'm like 15 and I'm listening to like the Shins on my headphones and I'm like, wait a second, like the guitar's over there, like the vocals are over here, and then it did like a thing like this, and the drums on this song are kind of like
You're noticing the panning.
different than the drums on the last song. Yeah, they're doing something else. Like, oh, that tambourine came in and then it went away. Like, holy shit, like this is like a whole thing like laid out. And then it changed. I started listening to the Beatles differently, and I just like that's when it like I was like, oh my God, you know, like this is a fucking whole arrangement, you know?
Yeah.
Was there, because obviously before you went to Full Sail, you became aware of this because that's what you went to Full Sail to kind of like hone a craft about. Like, what's the moment when you're a teenager or whatever, when you're like, whoa, wait a second, like it's not just like a song. It used to be just like, oh, there's a song, but now it's like, whoa, here's drums and guitar and bass and like all these layers and stuff.
I remember seeing a movie. I can't remember what the movie was, but there was a scene where they were inside of a studio and they were like raising the levels of the drums and then, you know, this and that and like, you know, making it sound good. And I was like, what is that? Like that's how you record? Like that's how this is made. And then that's when I just kept thinking about it all the time. And then when I went to Full Sail and I actually got to like do it myself, I was like, oh, dude, this is so fun. Like, this is what I want to do.
And you're still doing that now, like.
Yeah.
Professionally?
Like I've mixed a ton of different albums for Strange Famous Records, and then I have mine that's coming out on the 5th.
Glow Kid.
Which by the time this comes out, it'll be out.
Yeah,
So
so it just dropped.
So
everybody.
congratulations.
Yeah, congrats, dude.
It is really dope.
Yeah.
I think my favorite line was "Life's been a bitch since Pixie Sticks and playing tag." Is that?
Yeah, I remember that line.
That one was hard. That hit me good.
That
And
was
I really like the way the album ended. But I guess before I don't want to reveal too much. But it's like a whole experience, right? Like it's not individual tracks, or it's just like one
Well,
immersive
I think it'll
kind of
be
experience.
cut together, but what we listened to was just kind of it all. You basically heard the whole album just in one go. I assume at the release it'll be cut into songs.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be cut up, but that's how you heard it is how it's supposed to be heard.
Okay, you intended it like that because it felt, the way it ended, it just felt really sequential in a way.
The way it ends,
it's a journey. It's awesome.
It's so it's like a breath of fresh air that last or this maybe it's the second to last song, but it just gets really like beautiful and like you've been hearing so much kind of not even intensity because everything's got a little bit of a like chill laid backness to it, but it really ends nicely. It's great, man.
Yeah.
Good job,
Seriously,
Brown.
well
Proud
done.
of you, dude. And my favorite line is from Nelson, where it was like.
Nelson's on it. Nelson's on it.
Nelson's one of the best verses on it. It's amazing, dude. He's
Nelson made it.
And he's got that line like concrete shoes are hard.
Ooh,
it's hard to
yeah.
swim and
I like
run
that too.
or something like that. Like with like wearing these concrete shoes.
That stood out to me too.
And yeah, I was like, wow, I'm butchering the way he so eloquently put it, but it was like, wow, that imagery just stuck with me. And I remember when he sent me that song, but yeah, we caught up a few months ago, which was amazing because I hadn't talked to him in years. But he was like, dude, I did some shit with Brown. I'll send it to you. So I heard like a rough of that one. I was excited to hear that come up on the project.
Yeah, dude, he killed it like in like the second or third take, and he hasn't recorded in like over 10 years, and he just came in. He came over my house, listened to the beat a couple of times, and then went and did it. And then he was like, "I think that was good enough." I'm like, dude, it's like you never left.
Wow. Was it
cool.
something he had written before or he wrote it that day?
He wrote it at home, and then he came over.
Okay, so you sent him the beat, he wrote it at home, and then he came up and just laid it down.
Nailed it.
Was that your guys' first time hanging out in a long time?
Yeah, that was our first time hanging out in over 10 years.
Has it been 10 years?
Yeah.
It was 2012. Yeah. Like it was 2012 when Nelson got kicked out of the island.
Well, I haven't seen him since 2010.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So you moved to the island after Nelson was gone?
No, I moved to the island, and then we moved to another house, and then after we moved to the other house, then I moved. And then you guys moved to LA with Nelson, and then Nelson left LA.
Right. So I mean, in LA, though, you weren't there. When did you move to the island in LA? It was after Nelson had left.
Yeah, Nelson had already left.
Okay, that's right. Sorry, it's hard for me to remember.
I came later because I was here in Baltimore, and I was just kind of stagnant, not really doing too much, but just kind of aimlessly making beats and not knowing what the hell I was doing. And JC was like, "Hey, we got open space if you want to come out." I'm like, okay. I saved up $2,000 in like a month.
Wow.
Just like packed up my little Cobalt and drove all the way across the country like an idiot.
Dude, I'm almost the same exact story. I was home from school. I was just a waiter, living at my parents' place. And yeah, they were like, there's a room here. Rent is cheap. Like they just made it so easy. And I was like, I got to do this. How do I say no to that? So I went.
When are you going to get another chance to do that?
Yeah, it really cushioned the blow of like moving across the country. But I also had $2,000 saved up. Like that was my number. Yeah. And on the way, actually in Denver, my car broke down and it was $1,000 to fix it. so that cut me in half right there, but it's all right. We made it work. But man, catching up with Nelson was so great. So like, how did it come along? Like you guys, like you're like sent him a track, like rap on this. Like how did that all start?
We were talking for a little bit and sending ideas back and forth, and I was just like, dude, I really want you to be on my project. Like it would be really insane if you were just you just popped up out of nowhere and you just did this. And he's like, I'm about it, man. I'm like, what should we do? I'm like, can you come out here? And he's like, I'll be there next week. And then just drove up and we did it. It was awesome. We did another one too. We did 2 songs. We did one song, which we're waiting on JC to send his take on that. So it'll be like almost like a Not Them reunion.
Wow.
Yeah.
So cool.
Call it not them. But it is other. Wow. That's so cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's funny because the Glow Kid album wasn't supposed to be how it is. Like after I did the Alxndrbrwn project, which I was like pulling teeth. Like I was getting back into producing. I wasn't producing for years. I was like in 2018, 19, I was so depressed and just lost on what the hell I was doing here in Maryland. And I finally like did a lot of soul searching, you know, and like admitting to myself certain character flaws and, you know, and reclaiming things that I love to do, like hiking and producing and making art and just things that made me. I started reclaiming that again, but producing was really hard for me to jump back into, but I did it and I forced myself to do it and it was fucking hard. And that's how Alxndrbrwn project happened. And I wasn't even going to do anything with it. Like I was just going to put it on SoundCloud, but I sent it to Sage and he was like, what are you going to do with it? I'm like, I'm just going to put it on SoundCloud and whatever. And he's like, I mean, I could do that for you. Like we'll do it through the label and we'll put it on everything. Like, does that sound good? I'm like, yeah, okay. So that put fire under my ass. And then after I did that project, I was going to make a happy project, like a happy, like fun thing. And then COVID happened. And then like all these other things happened. Like my mom got laid off and then I had to step up and get another job. And
damn.
I was kind of like being spread out too thin pretty heavily. And I was just pissed off at everything, just the whole world and everything going on. So then I made Glow Kid in like 2 weeks in summer of 2020, and it was done. Like the way you hear all the transitions and everything, all that was done in 2020.
Verses and everything?
No, the verses weren't done.
Okay,
it was just
the music.
All the instrumentals.
Wow.
And then I had Buddy Peace do all the cuts on it. And then after that, I was like, it's still missing. Like it needs vocals. It needs something. Like let's showcase what we have on this label, and you know, and make like a compilation record, but all produced by me and whatever. And people were on board right away. Like Buck65, I don't recall him rapping in a very long time, and he jumped on it. And then Cast One came back and did the one song. And then Swell came back. He was part of this group called Meter Maids. He wasn't rapping for a while. He came back and did that. I got a couple of new people, Nelson. Everything just like happened. Like,
and Sage is on it.
Sage is on it. Yeah. Like everything happens so easily.
Wow. Isn't that funny how like we try so hard to like, I need to do so much. I need to work. I need to like make it happen. And the second you just like I'm just going to let this water just kind of, I'm just going to ride it down the stream. It's like, and that's when everything just kind of clicks.
It all happens so easily. And even with Ty, the guy that did the album art, like, like I asked him about it and he just did it. Like he just did it and impressed the hell out of me. Like I sent him a picture of my studio. I was like, I want this to be the cover. And he was like, all right, you care if I take my own little spin on it? And I'm like, do what you want. Like, you know, I just like the aesthetic of this because that's where I was making this.
Yeah, that's your world.
And the whole idea behind Glow Kid was like me being in the dark producing with all these screens lighting up my face, and I'm looking at the cell phone, I'm getting lit up by that. So I'm like glowing all the time from all these screens. And then the whole idea with screen addiction, and like, I don't know, there's a couple of things to that.
That's cool.
Super cool.
And all those names of the various rappers that are on the project, like, I'm a little ignorant to this scene. Are those people you grew up listening to, like in the circle, like Sage Francis?
Yeah, all those dudes, like Mopes, which he used to be called Prolific, Sage Francis, for sure. Like if it wasn't for Sage, I wouldn't even known this whole side of hip hop existed. Like, I was always into other things. Like my first record I ever bought was the No Way Out record from Puff Daddy and the Family. Like the whole Bad Boy thing, and Nas and Tupac and Wu-Tang, and like all the Slick Rick and Big L and Gangstar and Dr. Dre and all them.
Like, so what's that feeling like for you? Like, these people are on your project now? Because I think I remember you at the island coming up being like, Sage Francis retweeted me. Like, he retweeted me.
Yeah, dude.
It was like, and everyone's like, no shit. Maybe you posted like a remix or something, or...
That's when I did Grace with Sage, because I originally posted a beat, and JC tweeted Sage the beat that I made, and then Sage DM'd me and was like, hey, can you take that beat down? I really like that beat a lot. Like, I would love to use that. I'm like, okay. So I did that, and then we just kept talking, and then I randomly sent him the Grace beat, which right after I sent him the Grace beat, I regretted immediately. I was like, no, why did you send that to him? Like, that beat is terrible. Like, what is wrong with you? Why would you do that? But then like a week later, he sent me a song to that beat and not the beat that JC tweeted in.
Oh, wow.
So he sent me back that, and I was just like, what the fuck just happened?
Insane. And
That's so cool.
When these guys are getting on your project, like, and these people are rapping on your project that aren't even super active currently, but you're getting them on your project, like, what's going through your head? Like, what's that feel like?
I don't know, dude. At first it was super surreal, and I just was really grateful of even just having an opportunity to do another record. And then like all these people that I admired growing up wanted to be on it too. Like, it felt really crazy. Like, I don't know, like it definitely fucked me up for a little bit. Like, damn, like, I think I'm doing something right. People like what I'm doing, so I think I'm doing something right. Hopefully this translates well with everyone else that likes Strange Famous Records, which I think it will.
I think so, for sure. Like, as I was listening to it, I was like, because I had this Madlib and Percy P CD in my car in college that my brother Adam, shout out to Adam Brisky, gave to me, or just whatever. I stole it from him. I don't know, but like it was always in my car, always playing. It was like just like this kind of anthem of me driving, and like as I was hearing your project, I'm like, this is gonna be that for a lot of kids. I mean, and it's not like it's music for kids, but like, that's when you want to hit somebody. And I was like, I could just totally picture some kid in college just being like, this is all I want to listen to now. Like, I think
that's crazy.
It really felt that way. It was wild, dude.
I don't know. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Like everything from the artwork to everything. Like,
so how are you going to celebrate? You going to Disneyland or what?
I'm going to work.
No, you're just going to keep at it. Next album, do you want to set some intentions that you can just ignore on the next one? Make it happy. Make it.
Yeah, is the happy record still like going to come?
Is that on the table?
I don't know, man. Like I'm definitely going to do another one, but I already have like a bunch of other things working. Like I'm doing a bunch of stuff with Mopes, and then Jesse and Swell and Mopes and myself have a thing we're doing. And there's all kinds of other things on the back burner that's happening.
Amazing.
So I'm staying super busy, and it's all going to come out next year. It's
Cool.
just a matter of when. But my third contribution to everything, I don't know what that's going to be like or how that's going to happen, and that's usually when it happens the best. Like I don't fucking know what I'm gonna do, so I just do it.
Yeah, I like that.
Don't
That's
think, just do.
The looser plan is probably a healthier approach. Sounds good.
So how does it work with Strange Famous? That you're signed to Strange Famous, like which is Sage Francis's record label.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, there's no actual signing. It's just like a mutual agreement.
okay.
It's probably the best label to be a part of because they don't take your publishing or anything like that. The money they make is through their website. Like if they sell physicals on their website, then they get 50% and you get the other 50%. But if you sell physicals on your own, then basically you get to.
Wow. So they're
So whose
distributor.
DM do we need to slide into for That Kid Is You?
Yeah, I can't believe it. I never thought to like try and reach out to them through you, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But I'm sitting here thinking like, fuck, maybe we should be talking to Strange Famous. Like we have the inn and
I do love that. And I think my favorite part about that story is like the accident that happens where it's like you guys connected over one song, but then ultimately it was a different one. It's just kind of cool. Like it really is about getting your foot in the door and like finding that first connection so you can actually kind of allow for unexpected and like continual interesting things to happen, which is cool.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It all came so naturally, like, and everyone's so cool, and like it feels like a bunch of friends that I've known like all my life, but I've only known them for such a short amount of time.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, that's a great sign. That's very similar to our situation with like Nico and the Argentinians that we made the album with. Like,
Yeah,
there's some people you've known your whole life and you feel like you don't even really know them. And there's some people you met them yesterday and you feel like you've known them your whole life. Like it's just, and
Yeah,
those are the people like
You keep
stick
those
with those
you keep
people.
those people
you know?
around.
You keep those people around and the shit you can make with those people is magical. It's crazy.
yeah. So what are you doing right now with your music?
Well, I was talking with Dude today. He was like, "What's going on with the project, man?" And by the way, they say hi. Dude and Sarah say hi to both of you, actually.
Sarah's doing a music video for
Yeah, Sarah is doing one of the music
Cool.
videos for
Dream
you,
School.
which is cool.
I love her stuff recently. It's been so fun.
She's the best.
I mean, before too, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just been like,
She's on fire.
I saw she's doing an art show in Chicago coming up. She's
Yeah.
been really like,
Shout out to Woochie Baby, who
Woo!
was episode
Check her out.
1 of this podcast
oh
was
yeah,
with Woochie Baby.
I remember.
way back
Yeah.
when.
Yeah, way back in the day. 30,
Jeez.
39 weeks ago, maybe. But so what we're like, we got it out, which that like, you know, when you talk about like recognizing your weaknesses, like JC and I were never good at bringing something to the finish line and go, you know, and like getting it out. So that was kind of like hurdle number 1. Like we need to just get this thing out because
It's hard.
and it is hard. And
There's also like this thing that happens too, where it's like, if you sit on it too long, it becomes stale in your own mind, and then you can stop like hearing it for how great it is.
for sure.
I don't know.
Definitely. I
That
got
was kind of the advice from Nico was like,
Yeah.
act fast. Don't just sit on this because eventually it's going to stop feeling like completely
That's
authentic to where you're at and you're not going to be as excited about it.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, you know, we're both kind of rubbing elbows with people. Like, I met Post Malone, you know, and it was like, I played him the songs, and he's like, "Is this out?" I was like, "No, it's not out," you know. But had it been out in that moment, might have been a different story, you know. Maybe he could have shared it or tweeted it or at least saved it on his phone. Like,
Yeah.
it just needs to be out. And we kind of, at least I'll just speak for myself. I get trapped in this, like, you know, like it needs to blow up right when it comes out. It needs to be big. So like, let's not release it until we're fucking like have a huge following, like signed to a label or signed to management. Like, let's not do it until like we check all these boxes, but really put it out, then promote it, you know, like then it's out. And at least people have somewhere to go and land and look at it. I'm sure I'll learn over time that maybe that was the right or wrong decision, and we'll adjust in the future. But so at the moment it's out. And now we're
Argentina out now
streaming on all platforms. What's that?
It's so good.
Oh, thanks, dude.
The production on it too is so crazy.
Thank you. Yeah,
it's another journey. It's a saga.
That. Yeah,
and
that was another thing where it was like we just fearlessly went for it and just kind of like let the water take us where the river flowed. Like we weren't even driving a boat. We were just surfing, you know? And so, but now it's like, now that it's out, so trying like doing various promotions. I'm getting a hold of the instrumentals so then I can submit for licensing and stuff. And then we're going to,
so that you can be in commercials.
Yeah, things like that. You know, like you sort of sign with like a licensing company who will then represent you to like various commercials. Like a commercial would be like, I need a song that's like weird and hip hoppy, and they might be like, well, I mean, here's one, you know, or something like that.
That process of like entering songs into BMI or ASCAP or whatever. Like,
you hate that process?
I hate that process.
Yeah, BMI and ASCAP are annoying. I've had to work with them in the past as well, and it's just like
for your events.
Dry.
Yeah,
it just feels dry all the time.
It's like school. I hate that shit.
I don't mind paperwork, but that I was always sad to see those pieces of mail on the desk. You know,
mean, even releasing it, it's like, okay, like I've got all the mixes, I've got them mastered, let's go, and then I'm ready to release it. And it's like songwriters or like who played what instrument. I'm like, oh shit, like who played what instrument? Like so then it's like a couple days of going back and forth with Nico, like hashing out exactly who played what. Okay, great, I'm ready. And it's like, okay, lyrics. I'm like, oh, like. What are they all, like, I know my lyrics, but like, I need JC's lyrics. I need Maya's lyrics. I need Dude's lyrics. Like, all right, hold on. You know, it's like, all right, now I got all the lyrics. I'm ready. You know, it's like, and so it just kind of kept being like all these different little things that kind of are little hurdles. And it is kind of, it just becomes overwhelming, at least for me. It's not my strength, things like that, you know? So that was a little bit of a struggle. But anyway, I wish I had a better answer, and I probably should, for like, what now, you know, like, the what now is really, I think the next big moves, we need to put a band together and do like a big showcase in LA, like a nice, really good live show. And then like launch from there, the momentum of that, and just book a lot of local LA shows and put together like this, like we know a lot of really killer musicians. They're not cheap, but they're phenomenal, you know, and like, we're going to hire some real assassins and put together like a really proper show and see where it goes from there. But like, I don't know. I should have a better answer. I think we need management, to be honest, because what's that?
I said, no, that's a good answer.
I mean, what advice do you have? Like from the outside looking in, where would you be at with this? Or
probably this, like the same as what you guys are doing right now. Like, I don't know. Like, honestly, I would be so fucking lost if it wasn't for Strange Famous Records and like guiding me through everything, and Sage and Storm both like taking care of things like the promo pictures and this and that, and setting it to Spotify and all that. Like, I don't know how to do any of that. Like, I don't know how to do any of that. I just know how to put stuff together.
Yeah. Like what I could use is guidance. Because like I did all that for this project, and it was, like I said, a process that I was doing for the first time. But then also like we're not lazy people, JC and I, like we'll do the work, but I find myself lost. Like, what should I do? Like I have 6 hours right now that I can put towards this. What should I do with the time? You know, like what's the right thing to do? So like some sort of guidance, management. Honestly, it feels like a big next step also, pursuing management.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, you don't have a management. I don't know. Maybe we should talk to Strange Famous and see what advice they have, or if there's something we can work out there.
Yeah, dude, they're great. Especially like Sage is so open to like, and the thing that I love about him too is he's so honest. Like he's so honest and like will tell you if he likes it and he will tell you if he doesn't like it.
Cool.
And like I love that because it's like, all right, cool. Like if you don't like it, cool. Like I'll do this. How you feel about that? Like, oh, I love it. Great, cool. And then we just keep, we keep it moving.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will tell you like only what you want to hear, just to like make sure you feel okay or whatever, which in the end hurts you because for whatever reason would come from that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They're great. I would definitely try and talk to them if I were you, for sure.
Yeah, let's do that. But we'll talk after this, and we'll set it up. At the very least, to hear him say, I don't like it, or, whatever. That at least to get to that point would be great. So, but yeah, that's kind of where we're at, and we'll see.
You might go to Mexico this weekend to play a show.
Oh yeah, I might fly to
That's
Mexico tomorrow morning and play a
If
show.
only you would not know 12 hours in advance if you're going to Mexico. I'm just going to throw that out there.
JC is throwing like a big house party for like tomorrow. They're doing a big jam, and he's like, dude, if you can make it, because according to him, he's like, there is a little bit of a following he's cultivated in town. Like people fuck with the album in Sayulita, and so like it'd be a good time to calm down, play a show, and just have fucking fun. And then I just kind of had to be like with my work schedule, it's like a little haphazard sometimes. So I was like, it's going to have to be kind of a game time decision. But then just tonight, after the podcast I recorded with Steve-O, I found out we're not working tomorrow. And I was like, oh, well, I think I'm going to fly to Mexico then.
Yeah, you got to do it.
So I haven't looked at tickets. Like I got home and we rolled right into this, So after this, I'm going to look at tickets and maybe fly to Mexico tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you for jumping right into this too.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry that I was late.
It's cool. Like I was worried that like, you would be tired or whatever. I didn't want to like stress you out at all.
No. I love doing this show and talking, and especially I was so excited to talk to you, man. I was just worried, like, I mean, for you it's 3 hours later. For me, it was like 7:45 we started this thing. For you, that's kind of late, but we're night folk anyway. But I think you'll appreciate this. We just did a podcast with Too Short on Steve-O's show.
Holy crap.
So I came from Too Short to this, but Too Short was cool as shit.
Too Short. That's amazing.
Yeah, he was like,
Shout out to Too Short.
Just spitting game, because he's he started his own independent label and then signed that label to Jive Records. Like he didn't get signed as an artist, and he never was like, he was always on top of his shit. Like it was just really inspiring looking at him, which has kind of always been my goal of approaching like the label thing. Strange Famous sounds like a good like kind of halfway point where they're not like this ruthless evil type of label, but like the idea of a label kind of owning us and being like, we need an album and you need to go on tour and like, you need to do this. Like I just, and like taking all the money.
Yeah.
It's going to be harder to do it independently, but it's kind of always been in my head to not do that. But then Too Short was saying like, he was glad he signed to a label eventually. And like after getting himself so as far as he could, he was glad he signed to a label. He's like, I wouldn't be as big as I am now if I didn't, sign with these labels and get that mainstream promotion and access. So I don't know. It shifted my thinking a little bit today, talking to Too Short, like my opinion on labels and stuff.
Yeah. They can be good. They can be bad, depending on their intentions.
Yeah. And like, I mean, my thought has always been like, well, this is what they taught us at school, at least. Like, do everything a label does as well as you can. So at least when you meet with a label, you're like, I already do A, B, C, D. Like, I just need E and F. That's all I need from you. So, like,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Careful of advances.
I know, yeah, exactly. I was just listening to Jewel on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah, you listened to it?
Yeah, I heard some of it.
It is epic. She is so cool, but she turned down $1 million advance because she knew that was recoupable. You're going to have to pay that back. So she was homeless, and a record label signed her because she was like a big buzz in the cafe scene, sort of.
I loved her. I was listening.
Yeah, but she had the wisdom at like 18, homeless kid. Someone's like, I'll give you $1 million. She turned it down. She was like, just give me like a little bit of money to pay rent, and like we'll just go like the long haul kind of road.
It's that trust issue shit. Like, oh, you're gonna give me $1 million to do whatever. It's an advance. Oh, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm gonna have to pay that back and this and that. Like, I don't trust that. I don't.
Yeah, it's scary.
A little too good to be true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If someone offered me $1 million as an advance, nah.
But I don't. But like, or I would just take it, like, put it in Bitcoin, and then just like pay them back in a year or whenever I owe them. Like,
Yeah.
it's a risk. It's a huge risk, but
yeah. I guess it is a matter of like how you handle it and what things say in your contract.
yeah.
Could be
But
a
in general, it's a
remedy, could
very
be a
dangerous
poison.
thing, signing a record deal. It at least feels that way for me. It feels like,
It sucks because
I mean,
like
the
you
contracts, those are
like-
always intimidating a little bit.
yeah. But then like the whole system is kind of,
But maybe not. You mentioned that it's
well,
not
that's
like
true.
officially.
You've found a good marriage.
Yeah, I mean, like I've seen shit too where like when I was out there with y'all, like artists would sign with majors and then make a project and then the project never comes out and they just shelve the artist and then the artist can't do anything for 7 years because they're locked into a contract. So now they're like
Yeah, that's
You know,
sad.
maybe writing songs for other artists on the label and kind of
Yeah. But they own you.
yeah, but like you're not gonna release an album, you're not gonna do this, you're not gonna do that. And it's basically like they're just like eliminating the competition.
Keeping you on the bench.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if a label has Taylor Swift, let's say, and you go in, you're like, I'm the next Taylor Swift. They're like, great, we're going to sign you. And you're going to make a record. But then they're like, but we're not going to put that out because you're competition for our big golden nugget, Taylor Swift. So
Which kind of doesn't even make sense because like you're still gonna make money off her. You just signed her. Like just let her put her stuff out.
for sure. But it's also like, it is an expense. It's a financial risk always for a label to
Yeah.
back an artist, like it's an investment. And if they don't feel like they're going to get that money back, you're also you're living on the shelf. And because of the deal you signed, yeah, you can't now go anywhere. I mean, that was kind of the big thing with Prince, right? That was why he became the artist formerly known as Prince. Like Atlantic Records
I don't know.
owned Prince, the artist, And then I think I'm guessing or whatever, I'm paraphrasing, but when he left that deal, they were like, you can't go and make another Prince record. Like, we own Prince. And he's like, Prince isn't like an artist or like a commodity. Like, I'm Prince. Like, I am Prince. Like, you don't own me. But, it's not like I'm like Nirvana or something like Kurt Cobain and Nirvana. Like, I am the artist. Like, it is me. So that's why he had to become the artist formerly known as Prince. And he just was a symbol because nobody owned the symbol. They just owned the name Prince.
That's crazy.
And
I
he,
didn't-
he wrote like slave on his face when he would perform, because he was like, there's something like that. I'm probably butchering it a little bit, but that's why there was that whole artist formerly known as Prince controversy. It was over a label dispute of them owning his name and his likeness. They owned his likeness.
That's crazy, man.
It's
I
fucked.
love Strange Famous so much. Like
Yeah, you're in a good situation, it sounds like.
yeah, I just like being around good people. Like I'm not really around a lot of people here in Maryland. Like I just go to work and then I'm on my business and I stay home. I don't really have like too many friends, but like this whole situation with them, it just it's like, like I can make music, and then you guys can just put it out for me, and then
It's phenomenal.
I can help you make yours, and you know.
You
sounds like a good gig you've got going.
Super good. As a producer, you have a good ear for like what's a good rap and what's a bad rap, you know, and like you're sort of a hip hop connoisseur. Have you yourself ever rapped? I've never heard you rap or sing or anything like that.
I've tried it for sure.
Because you would at least know what's good and what's not, and what's gonna serve the beat and what's gonna like be whack.
I don't know if anybody can really listen to themselves objectively. See, that's what I'm saying. You're terrible. Where you think you're terrible, I bet.
No, like my writing is terrible, and like my tone of voice, like I mean, like I know how to like keep like a cadence, and you know, I'm producer. I know.
There you go.
But you know what the beat needs, you know, like
things, sometimes but bad is good, you know. Who says it has to be a good tone? It's a rap. It can be.
Look at this face.
It doesn't have to be good to be good.
I'd rather just, you know, make beats and let people that know how to do it well on them. And
gotcha.
So you mentioned that like you kind of have at least a semi aversion to like performing live. In the music videos you're making, will that be kind of starring you, or are you kind of behind the scenes?
Actually, like Cass One, he's doing a video for his song, and he's doing it by himself in Indiana where he lives. So that's getting done now. And then Sarah's doing the one for Dream School, so she's just gonna be chopping up stuff and animating stuff. And then there might be another one, and I might make a small little appearance in it, but I'm probably gonna be out of a lot of them.
Cool.
And that's preferred. You'd prefer it that way.
Yeah, like you know, I basically did this. I mean, after I made the instrumental and all, and I decided to have people on, I basically just committed the whole project to them. Like it's a gift to them to like inspire them to do what they like to do again. And, you know, and then I wanted to do it on my birthday on the 4th, but I know the music industry likes it when you put out music on Fridays. So we moved it to the 5th.
Maybe it'll be the 4th somewhere.
Maybe
in Hawaii or something. I don't know how that works.
Maybe, but but yeah, it was just like a plan of just like, here, it's my birthday. Here's a gift. Like here's something fun.
You're a generous fellow. You know, you're supposed to get gifts on your birthday.
I don't like getting gifts.
Typically how it goes. And I know that's cool. There's a lot to that. I think behind the scenes is good.
Yeah, and it's like
if it's where you shine, it's where you shine.
It's where you shine. Yeah, I at least do that with some things. I don't know. At this point in our lives, like I know what I'm good at. I know what I like doing. I know what I don't like doing, and so like for example, I'm a video editor. That's my job. But like if Steve asks for like some big motion graphic, I don't try to learn that or try to do that. I just say like, I'm not the guy for that. Let's hire somebody else for that. Yeah, it's because somebody else has put their whole life probably into learning that shit. And, you know, my life is sampling weird music and like fucking.
Dude, editing. Your beats are so good.
Oh, shit, Brown. Thank you, dude.
Like the beats that you put on Instagram of you chopping up or whatever. And you're like, oh, suggest me something to chop up.
Yeah, those have been a lot of fun.
I'm trying to think. Did you do a comment down below?
Yep. Brown did.
That's what I thought. Okay. Did you have a friend with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my buddy Derek.
How's Derek doing?
He popped in. He's doing good. I haven't talked to him too much, and like the last time I talked to him was probably about a week ago, and we were talking about skating again. And I wanted to get aboard and start pushing around again. So we were like plotting on like, oh, Sundays will be a good day to do it, and you know. And we were just talking about that, but it's funny. He came over when we were doing the video shoot, He brought like steaks.
Yeah. He came in with a handful of meat. He's like, I just got a handful of meat. Sorry, excuse me.
And he's just like out in the backyard grilling with my mom.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
you guys grew up
that
together?
was hard to forget.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in the thumbnail too, like Derek with the fucking handful of meat.
Yeah.
You not liking performing. Like I remember we would do sketches sometimes. You never seemed nervous for that. Like you're cool as a cucumber in front of the camera, it felt like. Is that
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
Like I like that stuff. You know, I was a little extra in Hail Caesar that one time.
Oh, I love that movie.
Oh yeah, he was an extra in the movie Hail
I
Caesar.
really love that movie.
Cool.
I don't
It's
mind.
good.
I don't mind that stuff.
Cool.
What scares me is being in front of like 30 people. Like, you know, I mean, I've done shows too with Cap where it would be like a bunch of people, like a sold out venue, because we went on tour with MERS and Mayday and
Right.
Set Through, and and there would be like a packed house, and I would feel okay with that. But then when we would do the smaller shows where it would just like some random town in North Dakota and it's snowing its ass off and only 10 people show up, that's when I'm like nervous and I'm like, I don't like this.
So it's like
intimacy.
that's a real intimate, personal.
Yeah, but that's
personal
true. Like
setup.
a huge crowd, even though there's
Yeah,
more
I
eyes
care.
looking at you, it feels like there's less.
Attention
I'm not,
on
like,
you or
looking
something.
at
It's less
anybody.
specific.
Yeah, I'm
It's
not
like
looking
the
at everybody.
Unplugged series. Yeah, it's always.
It's like a sea of people and I'm just looking
Right.
at.
Right. Versus like one dude sitting there like this. You're just
Yeah.
like, fuck, dude. Hi. How are you?
He's
Hello.
watching every move I'm doing. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah. I was like, bro, can you turn around?
It's weird.
Yeah.
Walk out the room.
Yeah, I mean, it's uncomfortable. We played a show in a kitchen recently. I don't know if you saw any like photos or something, but we did like a little house party. These people, Delirium, put it on. And it was super cool. But I was nervous. I mean, I get a little nervous for shows. I feel...
Dude, you've done a lot of shows.
I have. But like, I mean, I was always the drummer. You know, I've done a lot of shows as the drummer. And like,
Sure.
probably
This
being
was-
DJ is similar. Like I'm hiding behind this thing, you know, like I'm behind the drum set.
Your
You're
hands
behind
have
the DJ
something to
booth.
do.
As a rapper, like JC has done a lot of shows where he's the rapper. He's like, well, if people are like being rude or whatever, like he's handled it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not like that happens that often, but I think JC has a leg up on me in terms of like crowd interaction and like standing in front of the stage at the front of the stage and being like, "Hi, I'm
He's
me,"
always had,
you know.
JC's always had like the star quality in
I
him.
know he does, doesn't he?
Like dealing with pressure like that. Like, remember when we did the Austin's Coffee shit?
Yeah.
Like the open mic nights and all? He would crush it every night. Like,
Yeah,
no problem. Him and Nelson and Derek D. Strange,
yeah,
he was going by D. Strange then, they would all crush it every night. And it would blow my mind every Monday night. Like, how do y'all fucking do this?
yeah. It's
How
crazy.
do you,
Do you think
And
they
it's
have
all
like alter
freestyle.
egos? What is? I wonder
I
if
don't know because I bet if JC was here, he'd say, "Oh no, I was scared as fuck," or like I was just like D Strange was so cool, but I wasn't cool. I was fucking awkward and weird. You're like, you know,
probably-
I
Yeah.
bet that's what JC would say. I don't think he considers himself like an extrovert by any means, you know. But I don't know. He's good at it. He's good.
Do
He's
they, just,
likable.
do they just black out the whole thing and then just like come
Almost.
to and they're like, yeah, I think I like that. That was good.
I don't know.
it's like when he steps up there and holds the mic, it just clicks in his head
Yeah.
and he just goes to town.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always fun when you watch somebody up there that just like everything they do reassures you that they belong up there, you know?
Yeah. I guess JC is just, he's a rapper. He's a rapper's rapper. He's a rapper, you know,
He's-
like I'm
He's
kind
so
of a producer
talented.
rapping. At least that's how I feel. Like, I don't care who walks into my bedroom and wants to fucking make some weird music. If that's Dr. Dre, like, I'm not intimidated. Like, this is what I do. I
Yeah.
do this. I've done it a million times. I've put in 10,000 hours here, sitting here, doing this. But JC has put in hours fucking, hey, what's up? I'm JC. check this shit out. And I'm going to just freestyle right now for you. Like, I mean, that's crazy to me. That is, but yeah, I guess it's just where you've put in your time. So
Yeah.
I don't know what my point was with that, but JC is good. I'm lucky to have JC. I'll just say that.
Man,
And
I was
he's
gonna
lucky to have you.
Well, you're goddamn right. He's lucky to have you.
When was the last time you guys made some music together? Comment down below, probably.
It would have been. Well, no, you did that one project you sent me, and I kind of like just.
Oh, the Christmas one.
The Christmas project. I did
Which
little.
one?
I just sprinkled little.
You sang on the last track.
Oh wow!
On
I
the-
don't even remember that I sang. You're right. I sang.
You
You
sang
blacked
on
out.
I blacked out. It was late. I did like all the best things come out at
It was
4 a.m.
awesome.
Yeah,
My
that
dad
shit was
always told
dope.
me nothing good happens after midnight. 4 a.m. That's pushing it.
I mean, when your dad talking to a daughter, that's a good advice. But if you're a music producer,
Are you
nothing
a
good
night
happens when the
owl?
sun is up.
You're a night owl too?
I used to be.
Okay.
I normally now I go to bed at like 8:30, 9.
That is pretty early even for me.
Wake up at like 6 a.m.,
Wow.
5:30.
Yeah. The 5:30. The 5 I've never dabbled with the 5 o'clock hour.
I have a new puppy too.
You
what?
what?
Like, I have a new puppy now. So
Oh.
like
That's right. Where's this puppy
Yeah,
at?
can we get a little
she's upstairs sleeping.
Oh, what
she
kind
goes
of
to, what
puppy?
time does she go to sleep?
She's a Australian Shepherd.
Oh, that's
He
sweet.
sent me a picture here. I'll show you.
Wait a second. We're really keeping you up past your bedtime
Yeah,
then.
fuck, dude. Now
No,
Too
it's okay.
Short fucked us, dude.
No, it's okay because it'll make me fall asleep quicker. Usually, like go to bed at 8:30, 9, and I won't actually fall asleep until 12. You know, because of the ear situation, it'll keep me up or whatever. So
Man.
wearing me out before.
Oh my god.
Here's the puppy. So when are
Oh
you?
my
When are
God.
your hours that you would be producing, or are you like actively producing, like
Early-
daily, weekly, or anything?
Early, I can curse, right? I've been cursing.
Say whatever the goddamn fuck you want. Actually, don't like say the N word or anything, but you know.
I really wish this dog was here.
I usually produce early as shit in the morning. Like
Oh
Love
wow.
it.
that's when I feel the most like creative and everything. Because as soon as I wake up, my brain is just on, and you know I'm in go mode. I have energy. I have I'm ready to go.
That's how
Later
I
on-
feel.
Later on in the day, I'm useless. So like I want to smoke a little bit and then just like
Chill out.
relax and forget about everything from the day, and then just
So what time do you?
I might make a beat after work. I might dabble in music. Sometimes I do, but other times I'll rebel against myself and be like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Watch
just
some
wanna-
TV. Fucking veg out.
I just want to hang out with my dogs and like veg out, and watch the new Wu-Tang show on Hulu.
Oh, have you been watching that? We haven't watched that. The
Yeah,
scripted one or the documentary one?
The scripted one, I'm hooked on it. Like it took me a minute to get used to all the characters playing,
Right.
all the
Right. You're like, you're not Method Man, but now you see, like, okay, that's Method Man.
This doesn't look like Ghostface. Like
Right.
y'all don't sound like them rapping, but like once we get past it, and you just get invested with the story. Like I'm just really into the story right now.
Cool. Yeah, we've not checked that out.
Sounds good.
Yeah. We just watched a show on Hulu. It's like Steve Martin and Martin Short and Selena Gomez trying to solve a murder in their apartment building. And it's
Oh.
fun. We liked
was
it.
good.
It's not like it's fucking, it's
Sounds
kind of
good.
cheeky. It's kind of like light, but it's funny. And we liked it a
It's
lot.
fast moving.
What was it called? Only Murders in the Building or something like that. And it's a good murder mystery. I love a good murder mystery.
After years and years and years of this shit, I still watch King of the Hill.
Nice.
I still watch King of the Hill, and I still watch Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Nice. And you watch them on TV or you like watch them on a streaming thing? Like you actively.
on a streaming thing, like on
Wow.
Hulu or
Nice. King of the Hill is sort of your comfort food.
Yeah, like I'll come home from work, I'll make some dinner, I'll put on King of the Hill, and just like it's it's shit like you don't really have to pay attention to, but when you pay attention to it, it's funny as hell,
Mm-hmm.
and you catch something new every time you watch it.
That's funny. That's kind of like Seinfeld.
Yeah, I
for
was thinking
you
Seinfeld.
Especially.
Yeah, for me.
But for me too.
But
it's
it was
kinda
like I'm trying to think of it was like, what the lineup was growing up. It was like King of the Hill, Simpsons, Seinfeld, or something. I forget what it was.
I think
forget
it was
the order.
King of the Hill, Seinfeld, Simpsons, Seinfeld
That might be it. That sounds
on Fox
right.
growing up.
Did a lot of that.
Yeah, if I watched TV right when I got home, I could catch King of the Hill. And then it was the ultimate.
I need to like go back to King of the Hill because I always remember it being kind of like slow and dry.
Yeah,
And I never really liked any of them except for like the really dumb one.
yeah.
Boomhauer.
Boomhauer. I loved
bang, all bang,
Boomhauer.
bang.
I loved him. Like that
I always
cracked
liked
me
Dale.
up.
His buddy Dale, the
Dude,
other
Dale,
dumb one.
my favorite scene is when Dale is like in this like suit of armor, and he's like he's like testing out the suit of armor, so he's like doing a bunch of crazy shit, and he's standing on his roof of his house and just falls face first off his house.
Oh my God, dude. And so Brown and I think we really bonded over our love for Freddie Got Fingered.
Oh my god.
We were cool. We were cool, but it was like kind of, we met through JC sort of, like I Brown was not individually my bro. And then one day we were at the island and we were just talking about fucking how funny Freddie Got Fingered was. And we wanted to watch it. And this is like, you can't just stream everything. And we went out and we
Dark
found
ages.
it. We were like, we are going to find Freddie Got Fingered. We ended up finding it at Amoeba Music on VHS.
Yes.
And then we went home and we watched it. But we were like, who has a VHS player? Like we had to.
Did we have to go out and buy a VHS player to watch it?
Damn.
Or like
that
a TV?
Yeah, maybe it was a
I was at
TV
a
with a
thrift
built-in
store.
VHS, like a little one.
God.
We were in Dez's room.
Yeah,
you
maybe
know?
maybe hers had like the built-in VHS. It was like, those little TVs where
yeah.
like under it is a VHS.
For sure.
Dude, have you ever seen Freddie Got Fingered? Mm-mm. Oh my
Well-
God, Tom Green classic.
If I have, I have no memories of it.
Then
that
you
came out
haven't because it's unforgettable.
If that came out today, he would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Things are different.
I don't know. I mean, other than like jacking off a horse's dick, I don't know what else is really that crazy about it. Other than masturbating the horse cock, it's pretty
Pretty PG.
pretty PG, pretty run of the mill.
Deer skin over top of him.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my gosh.
But even just like
Kidnaps his dad by like uprooting his house and then like shipping his house to Pakistan so that they could sew soccer balls together in Pakistan.
wait, what?
You don't remember that?
In Freddie Got Fingered?
Yeah. Towards the end, he like sneaks in and like tranquilizes his father, and then like he got a bunch of money because he sold his cartoon, and then he like uprooted his father's house and like helicopter shipped it to Pakistan and dropped it in the middle of nowhere.
That's how the movie ends, kind of?
Yeah, and then he like jacks off an elephant.
God. Lots of bestiality.
Dude, we would just die. And still to this day, because like there's a scene, his dad is played by Rip Torn.
Oh my god.
You'd recognize Rip Torn, but there's a scene where he's like, "Are you proud of me, Daddy?" And he's like, "Yeah, make your daddy proud. You go make your daddy proud. Proud?
Proud.
Proud." And like it's just
I'm the number one study.
I'm the number one. I don't see tulip barons, Freddie. I'm the number one son. Or even just like, you want to be a telephone repairman? You want to be a telephone repairman? Like the banana in the beginning. Oh my God.
I say Geneva, you say.
Yeah, you hear Helsinki? You're fired, Bob. You're fucking fired. Just be careful. I have sensitive knees.
Which is like smacking him with the stick.
Yeah, dude, our buddy Woody, you know Woody, right? Yeah, you know Woody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like Woody, him and I were talking about Freddie Got Fingered one time, and he's like, yeah, dude, I fucking love it. And he's like, and dude, when people are like, Daddy, would you like some sausage? Fuck you. That's not even the best part. You don't like that movie if that's your quote that you bring up when you talk about Freddie Got Fingered. If all you have to say is, Daddy, would you like some sausage? Like,
That was in the movie
that's
trailer.
not a real fan. Yeah, like everybody knows that part, you know? I was like, dude, I like you, Woody. I like you. We're trying to, Woody's going to get on this show pretty soon here. We've been going back and forth trying to set it up, but I'm a terrible communicator, so
He's a
Ah.
we haven't yet.
he's a funny dude. I wish he would do stand up.
Yeah, he needs to. Dude, were you there at the party at Patty's? And JC and I performed. Like Yarpy from the Dudesons was there. Maybe you had already moved by then. But
Yeah,
we
I was
needed to stall for time. I think because we were waiting for Yarpy to get there from the Dudesons. We wanted him to see us perform. And so Woody is just like, I'll just kill time. And he just kind of did like stand-up. He did like crowd work. And it was amazing. It was so funny. And he kind of like purposely told bad jokes, and everyone's like, you know, he just like doubled down over and over. It was really great. Yeah, he should do stand up. But Woody's killing it. Woody's a chef in Santa Barbara at like a restaurant. He's like the head chef. He's like running this place.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Woody's got his shit together.
So full time.
Dude, wow. Yeah. Quite
When
a journey.
when was the last time you were out here?
Oh geez. Last time I was out there, Cap Callis brought me out to make some beats for him. 2017, maybe.
Okay.
Like a year after I moved back. Was it? When did I move? When did I move?
I just remember maybe 2016. That sounds about right. I remember.
My dad passed away in 2016. Yeah, it was 2016 because right when he passed away, that's when I was like, all right, I'm out of here.
And so, what was that? Because you moved back to sort of be with your mom, or was it less?
It was a combination of so many things. So it was like, all right, I got the tinnitus in my ear. I was freaking out about that, and I was doing things that I shouldn't have been doing, like drinking coffee, and you know, if I had a headache, I was taking ibuprofen. I was putting a lot of salt in my food. All these things like make it worse. So it was like driving me insane already. And then that was going on. My computer was dying. I didn't have anything to make music on. I was doing work with that moving company. And I was just like at a standstill situation where I was only making enough money to pay rent and pay whatever. And I wasn't happy. So then I was like, all right, like the only thing that's holding me back is my friends. Like I hate leaving my friends, but I need to do this so that I can be able to save money and, you know, have the things that I need to make what I want to make. And maybe try and jumpstart this thing, see doctors, see what's going on with my ears and this and that. So like, all right, I'm going to move back to Maryland. I just don't know when. And then my dad passed away. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to move back next week. And then that's when
it was pretty sudden.
Yeah, it was real sudden. Like my friend Athena came out and packed up my car and we just drove back. But yeah, that was
Sometimes that's what it takes, I guess.
But I remember I was scared when you did that because I was like, you know, I was afraid that you would not like continue making music and pursuing what like you're trying to do, and you did take a long break, right? It was when you moved back that you just sort of stopped producing. Yeah. You quit. You're like, I'm done with music. And that it bummed me out. I was like, oh man, I mean, you know, we all got to do our thing and we all are on our own kind of path. And, you know, I wasn't like upset with you or anything, but I was like, fuck, you know, Brown's like one of the best people I know at this, you know, like if he's fucking quitting. And so when you sort of picked it back up and you were like, I'm doing shit and I got this project and I'm on Strange Famous now, or like I'm working with them and shit. Like I think JC and I both were like, God damn it, thank God. Like we were so relieved that you were back to making music, because it was
Appreciate it.
it's
Yeah.
scary. Like to have such a talented friend not be using it is selfishly. I want you to be doing this shit, you know?
I know a lot of people were like scared that I would just fall back into the Baltimore habits and shit, like just the Baltimore crabs in a barrel way.
Yeah.
Which, to a certain extent, like, yeah, I did fall victim to a lot of that. But like,
Because what does that even mean? It's a scrappiness, is what I'm hearing, right? My brother-in-law, he grew up in Easton, so he's a Maryland guy too, and he just, what is
yeah,
it? What's the Maryland life
what is
like?
it's kind of it's hard to explain. Like, I came from South Baltimore. So in the 90s, South Baltimore was this like real kind of grimy and weird area. Like, you can't just like willy-nilly walk down the street. Like, I'm always looking over my shoulder, and some crazy shit was always happening. My dad was a crazy person in general. So like, whatever he was dabbling in, I had to be cautious of. Like, one moment, like, I'm walking down the street, and a guy's like, "Hey, what's up, little Al?" Like, grabs my hand, walks me across the street. And then the next moment, the same guy might be like, "There he is, get him," and chase me, and then there was always this dark cloud here of just like stress and anger and, frustration, depression. And it's with everybody and everything. And it's hard to stay positive and stay focused when we are surrounded by all that. So that's when I refer to like crabs in a pot, like that's like, the crabs pulling you back into their level of like, nah, like, you want to go up there, like, you coming back here with us.
Yeah, it's almost like misery loves company, like, like defeatism a little bit, no?
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of too. Just like, I don't want to do all that again, but it happened. But I'm still like actively trying to stay away from that. Like, I've done a lot of work. I go to therapy all the time. Like, I'm a much different person than I was then. But yeah, I mean, hopefully I get to a point where, I don't have to be here. I can be wherever, but I do love it here. Like, I do have like a place in my heart for this area. It's just, I don't like the city. I don't go to the city. It just brings back too much shit. Like, I even if I drive in the city, my heart might start racing, and then I'm like looking around, and I get that like fight or flight sensation flowing in.
Dude, I mean, I can't imagine. Like,
I can. That's kind of how I feel when I go home. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I mean, home. I say home. It's not really my home
But your
anymore.
hometown.
But like, yeah, hometown
Where you
makes
grew
me
up.
kind of stressed like that. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's places. I've always been fascinated by places and like how they shape people and the culture of cities and towns. And, like, I think you've got to find an environment that suits you ultimately, so that you don't have to live in this constant like flight or flight mode, where you can let your guard down a little bit is a good thing. But I also know like kind of the double-sided coin of kind of loving and not loving a place simultaneously,
Yeah. Yeah, like Steve-O lost a dog recently. It's this dog Walter.
Yeah, I saw
and Walter
that.
was a son of a bitch. Like, he'll
thought that was the
bite
angry
you,
one.
he'll get you. Like, we had to be like, don't pet the black one. Like anyone who comes to the house, like, don't pet the black one. And Walter's gone now. And I walked into Steve's room today because I was looking for keys, because we couldn't find the keys for the van for the podcast. And used to be, you walk into Steve's bedroom, you're like, where's Walter? Because he's going to try and get me. And so I walked in there today. I know full well Walter's gone, but like,
Yeah.
the thing happened, right? Like I was like, whoa, I did like I was like, hold on. And so this is just a dog that growls and like will nip at you, you know? And I was like, I can't imagine growing up, like how you grew up or how you grew up, like the things you went through with, you know, whatever, but like, or what people who are like really traumatized or raped or whatever, like the reflex, the trauma, like I'm walking into a room and I'm flinching because there's a dog that used to bark in here. And like,
Yeah.
that's nothing. And I have like a sort of a PTSD, very minimal, but it's trauma
still
that I'm reacting to. Like, I can't imagine
Yeah.
what it feels like for people who have really dealt with shit. I'm very lucky that I never really dealt with anything so, you know, traumatizing. But yeah, I mean, you that like
Says the guy who fell
It's
off the
still
roof and
scary.
almost died.
Like it's a dog that's unpredictable. You don't know if he's gonna like bite you hard or if he's just gonna bump you or whatever. So it's still
I
scary.
know, but my point is like I totally like you driving down Baltimore being like it still makes me feel fucking shitty. Like
It's basically
it's
hyper
that times a
arousal all the
bajillion
time.
of what I felt today.
Yeah, it's just like a hyper aroused state. I mean, the nervous system doesn't really take that much to get like completely out of whack. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how quick it can happen.
Yeah, it's nuts, dude.
Angry as hell driving in Baltimore. I just
Yeah.
like
Did
don't want
you did you prefer living in Los Angeles?
I did. I felt more at peace there, even though like there's like LA's got their own issues, but like I felt way better. Like I didn't feel like I had to look over my shoulder or anything, or that's with everywhere too. Like when we did all the tours and all, like it was great. Like Maryland's just the only one that does it for me. Like I've seen like police pull like dead bodies out of the water in the harbor and shit. Like and them doing that and then smelling it instantly and then seeing it and then the cops joking around about it and all, and like that's some shit to see when you're like 14 years old and like you're skateboarding with your friend at the end of your street and then all of a sudden boom, cop car, boom, 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 another one. They all fly up the street and then a cop boat pulls up at the harbor at Hall Street Pier, and then they just pull this guy out of the water, and then I'm like looking at it, I'm like, what the fuck is that? And then instantly I smell it, and it's just like this crazy smell. And then just having to watch that whole situation and still remembering like what the guy looked like, what he was wearing, this and that, and and then just being in shock, staring at it. And then finally a police officer looked at me. I was like, hey, get out of here. And then I just like walked away. And then my buddy was like trying to make light of the situation, like joking around or whatever, because he knew it bothered me because I was just like
a human being seeing this horrible thing. Yeah.
That was the first time I've seen like a dead body outside of a funeral home.
That would be my first time too. I've only seen one dead body in a funeral home. And it's like, you've been through such real shit. And I grew up not going through any real shit. I remember it was 9/11. We were at the island and I walked out and I was like, I was kind of a little fucker all the time, but I was like, hey, happy 9/11, everybody. Just cause like, I know it's a serious thing. So I'm going to kind of make a joke because like I'm an asshole. And then you were like, you think 9/11's funny? Like, and like, but you really meant it. And I was like, nah, dude, I don't know. And like, I don't know what I said in the moment, but I do still think about that. Like I had this kind of like,
That's
but that's because I never
Everything's a
dealt
joke.
with real shit in my life. Like at that point, especially, I never dealt with like real fucking heavy shit in my whole life. So like, I'm here like making jokes like, oh, happy 9/11, guys. Like, bleh, like, and you're like, oh, you think that's fucking funny? Like,
Funny guy now?
yeah, what? You're funny? You're a clown? Do you remember that at all?
No, I don't.
Yeah, it stuck with me, dude. It was like, fuck. Like,
I remember a lot of things, dude. Honestly, like I don't remember. I don't remember anything from the mansion days in Florida to island stuff. Like I remember a lot of things from when we moved to that house in North Hollywood.
Yeah.
Like I remember all that. And
Mortimer.
That can also be a trauma response memory. The lack of memory is like definitely associated with that.
I remember some things at the
It's
island.
tricky.
But yeah, I just remember not liking like who I am today. Like I remember not liking a lot of things about myself then. So then I pushed away like a lot of those memories. Like, you know, before the island in Florida, like, you know, like when you're a kid and you just want people to like you or like to, you know, whatever, you kind of just do what everyone else is doing or acting the way everyone else is acting. But then like reflecting back on it, I'm just like, fuck were you doing, dude? Like that wasn't you at all. Like should have just been you. Like there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with not liking something if someone else likes it. You know?
Yeah,
just,
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, all the interesting stuff is kind of what makes us weird and quirky, right? Like that's the stuff that actually is worth tuning in for.
I know. And as a kid,
but it's like it's the stuff you feel the most ashamed of growing up. You know, it's like you just hold it close to your chest because it's like a weird thing to be different. You're just trying to like show that you can keep up. You know.
Yeah. It's funny, like you don't have a lot of memories from the times when you weren't being yourself. Like you weren't there. You weren't.
Yeah.
You were almost detached, and your memory also seems to have detached itself from that. That's kind of interesting.
So interesting. I always heard too, like in your 20s, like you don't really know yourself that well, and you think you do, but then you know, get past it, and then in your 30s, you like are a little bit more aware, and it's kind of this thing that keeps repeating like year after like decade after decade, like where you think you have it figured out and then you look back and realize how far you've come again. Do you think that like time was the remedy for you? Like time just to learn that it was okay was kind of what kept you going?
Yeah, time and self-reflection and being honest with myself, asking myself hard questions that like, you know, that you normally wouldn't want to answer, or, you know, like just being like brutally honest. I remember like in 2018, like taking walks in the park by myself and be like, all right, dude, like, what's up with this? Like, you know, and then like answering myself honestly. I would cry over this shit too. Like I would like be walking in the park crying over these questions that I'm answering myself because it was so hard to even say to myself the true answers. And then finally when I did it, that's where the growth happened. That's where like hot, like it's just like working out at the gym. Like you put in hard work, you basically hurt yourself and strain your muscles for growth.
Right.
Same way.
Was there something
no pain, no gain. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Fucking mask on first.
Was there something that turned the corner for you? You moved back to Baltimore. You're sort of like in this huge rut, basically, it sounds like. And then finally you start thinking more critically about like who you are and the way your brain is thinking, or in asking yourself these hard questions. Was there something that influenced that? Or was it, like Christine said, just kind of like a time, like over time, it just became clear?
Yeah. I think a lot of it had to do with my hearing situation. And then I was in a relationship for a little bit, and you know, after that, that's when I was just like, all right, obviously there's something wrong here, because this keeps happening over and over again, and I'm repeating cycles, and the whole point is to not repeat bad cycles. So what the fuck are they, and how do I stop it? And yeah, that's how it happened. But mostly everything that I've been experiencing recently since 2015 was all tinnitus related. Like it's not just ringing, it's all the little things in between it. Like tinnitus messes with your memory, it messes with everything, like your immune system, like your stress, like all these little things, your concentration, especially your concentration. Like in the middle of conversation, I can stop in my tracks and forget where I was in it, because all of a sudden, like, I'm not thinking about the conversation anymore. I'm thinking about what I'm hearing. And then I'll get irritable, and then the person will be like, "Oh, what's wrong with you?" And then all of a sudden I'm in this like mini fight over something stupid, because I can't relay what's going on with my ears, because it's a hard thing to explain, especially explaining it over and over again to people that you've already explained it to. And and it's draining for me, and it's draining for them, because obviously they feel bad, and obviously they can't do nothing about it. No one can, like, not even doctors can do anything about it except for give you remedies on how to cope with it. It's one of those things that never goes away, and only gets worse through time, but you can do things to cope with it. And and it can come down a little bit. There's certain thresholds with it. Like if you're not stressing, if you're perfect with your diet, if you're perfect with medications, like if you're not taking anything, ibuprofen or anything that messes with your blood, like if you're not doing anything bad like that, like caffeine and whatever, then it helps but it takes time. Like it takes months and months for it to chill. But right now I'm good. Like I'm better than I've been in a long time. Like I was really good too when I was vegan. I was vegan for a little bit just to see if it would make a difference. It made a fucking huge difference with tinnitus. I lost a lot of weight, but like audible wise, I did really well. Like I was doing good. But I don't know. Ever since then though, it's just been good. Some days I have bad days, like if I'm stressing, and then that'll get worse, and then I'll stress about that getting worse, and then it'll get more worse.
Yeah.
So wait, what's the problem with ibuprofen? Just that it puts foreign
I don't know. Like
chemicals in your blood?
It just messes with it. I don't really know the science behind it, but I know that every time I take ibuprofen, it gets worse. Or like Tylenol, or especially Excedrin, because Excedrin has caffeine in it. Salt. I think
ton of caffeine. Excedrin.
Oh yeah.
Nuts. Yeah.
Shit.
I think salt like affects the water content in your body. So then that's why that messes with that. I think that's what it is. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well,
It's all right.
I'm glad you know it better. I'm glad you finally cracked the code a little bit.
Yeah. At least I have like 100% of my hearing. I do have a small amount of hearing loss, but it's not anything compared to like other people. Like I know this one dude on YouTube, his name is Accurate Beats. He doesn't have any hearing at all in his one ear.
Wow.
Like he had brain surgery and something happened, and then boom,
Yikes.
his hearing is gone out of one ear, and he's still making incredible shit.
Wow.
So like
just panning is difficult.
it's cool. It's cool to connect with people like that. I connected with a producer too in Switzerland through a Facebook tinnitus support group,
Wow.
and he's actually done a lot of stuff in the industry. But it was cool to meet someone else that has the same issues, but also worked in the industry, and we can like coach each other through like, oh, I'm having a bad day, or if he's having a bad day, then I can help him with his bad day. It's cool to have people like that, that understand. Because if I just like tell my mom about it, she's just like, I hear it too. I hear it ringing too. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not like a ringing. Like it's a lot of stuff, and I hate like
Fully immersive.
Yeah, I hate explaining it to her because I know she doesn't want to hear it because I'm her son, and it probably makes her upset that I have to deal with the shit. But I don't know. It's necessary to talk about, because if I don't talk about it, then it'll,
Yeah. And just like seeing that it's possible changes everything. Like, oh, there's another guy out there with this problem and he's still making music. Like,
Yeah.
it's not impossible, And
Yeah. I'm sure so many engineers have it and they just don't say anything because it's kind of taboo to say anything about it. Like, oh, you have hearing problems? Like, I don't want you to work on my
like
album.
you're my mixing engineer. Like,
it doesn't affect. I mean, like, if you properly maintain it and you do the things that you need to do to keep it regulated, then it doesn't affect your job.
well, and when you're aware of it, like every good mixing engineer knows, like, oh, at like, the spectrum of sound, right? There's like 1K, like that's 1,000 hertz. That's like a certain tone, So every professional mixing engineer kind of knows their own weaknesses in their ears. They know that at 2K hertz, I have like a ringing. So if I hear it too loud at 2K, it's actually probably not too loud at 2K. Like, right? Is that correct? Like, a lot of good mixing engineers, you kind of know the weaknesses of your own ear. So when you hear something, you kind of interpret it through that filter of like, oh, it sounds bassy, but I hear everything a little bit bassy. So it's actually not bassy. Things like that, right?
Yeah, it's different with everyone. Like with me, sometimes it's like a superpower. Like if I know if a frequency is like really messing with me, then I know that that's the frequency that I need to fix. Like it amplifies itself. Like if there's like
it magnifies kind of, yeah.
If there's like a harsh thing going on and it's messing with my ear real bad, I'm like, I need to fuck with that frequency a little bit. But also sometimes it works against me. Like I'll be too safe with like EQing and things like that, because like everything is just like too sensitive for me.
Right.
So then
exactly.
my mixes can end up sounding muddy sometimes, which then, if I do feel that they are muddy, then I just take some time off for a little bit and then I re-listen to it and I'm like, I was tripping. Like I need to do that. I need to do that.
And a reference track always helps for that too. You listen to like a popular song that is mixed very well and you go, oh, well, compared to that, I am muddy. So so now I know that I need more high end or
muddy
something.
by being like
muddy is
turning
kind of
down everything essentially.
Muddy is like sort of a term for like it's too bassy. Treble and bass, like the treble is too low. So versus being crisp and like really more high end. I'm looking if I have an equalizer here too.
Drinking?
Huh? We're drinking a vino that Christine bought. Ravenswood Cabernet Sauvignon, 2018, California.
Nice.
Yeah, we're just having our. We drank the whole bottle actually, which is rare.
I want to have some wine. I haven't had alcohol in 3 years.
Wow. Well, don't have it on our account.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously,
maybe
that's
you
a lot
should
of
stick with
pressure.
that. I think
Don't-
that's
Don't look to us.
probably the way to go. It's not as fun as it looks.
We've been meaning to quit.
Yeah,
No.
we've been trying to cut back, and we just keep pushing off that cut back date.
I mean, if you have fun with it and it doesn't like affect your life or you're not addicted to it, then what's
Sometimes I catch myself like, wow, I've been drinking way too much, way too
Sometimes
often.
I wonder how much money I'd have if I didn't drink it. Drink it
that's-
in wine bottles.
Yeah. But
But
then,
but,
I take a
you
break.
know,
I
life
just
is
quit.
Whatever. Sure.
I've learned I'm kind of like all or nothing a little bit. I'm jealous of people who are like you. I'm jealous of you. You can have a glass of wine and be like, I'm going to go to bed. For me, it's like, let's drink the whole bottle. What's the, why don't we just keep going, or I'm just going to drink nothing at all for like a month.
But
you
you're
know?
way better at that than I am. Like to me,
Sure, but
that
I'm
is
also
really
better
hard.
at finishing the bottle than you are, so it's like,
I'm
it's a
good at
tough balance.
pacing myself
remember-
always, but once I tell myself not to do something, then I get stuck.
If I really
want
say
it.
I'm not drinking, I'm not drinking.
I know, you're good.
I commit.
You're good at
I
that.
commit, but
So what motivated you to stop drinking? Was it the ear situation as well?
with tinnitus,
I was wondering. Alcohol probably makes everything worse, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Paul, you do that. I remember you would be like, I'm not gonna smoke for
the quitting.
a couple
Oh.
of months, and you wouldn't, and you would commit to it, and I admire that from you because like you would make up your mind on something and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that, and you wouldn't do it, even if I would be like, come on, Paul, like
Yeah, that's my favorite actually. If you really want me to, it's like, oh, now I'm gonna extra enjoy not doing it. I thought you were gonna say you do that.
I thought he was gonna
We
say
would
the
open a bottle,
opposite,
you would drink
too.
the whole thing. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
I know. I'm always telling myself don't, and then I'll be like, wait, but you can't stop drinking now. You're going out to dinner with your friends on Friday. Like you're gonna want to have a cocktail then. It's a slippery slope for me.
So hey, we're all just humans, and we're doing our best, and we're doing
Yeah.
pretty good. We're not bad people. We're not perfect, but we're just all right.
bunch of kids in adult suits.
Bunch of kids in adult
Yeah,
skin.
just trying to keep it together.
Yeah. How old are you now, Brown?
Ooh, I am 33.
All right, I just turned
It's a good
32.
one. It's a good one.
But November 4th, I'll be 34.
Oh,
yes,
nice.
that's
All
right. Oh shit! Happy
And so,
birthday,
like,
man.
I don't know. I mean, at least for me, when I was like 12, a 30-year-old, like that's a goddamn
You're old.
adult. That's a grown up. And now
Yeah.
now I'm
I know that
32.
threshold keeps getting pushed
Yeah,
back.
it just keeps getting pushed back and back. And I feel like we're gonna be, we're gonna be 50 and be like, remember when we were 33 and we thought like we were getting old? Like remember that? Like we were just children still. And like I remember being 18, being like, I'm 18, dude. I'm fucking like an adult. But now
You
it's like, remember
when we thought our bones hurt when we were 30?
yeah, remember when our joints hurt at 30?
I don't
Do
even
you
wanna
do
take-
any like saunas or cold plunges or anything like that for the inflammation of your joints? By
I
the way,
used to do sauna all the time.
did
when
it
I
help
had
at all with your joint pain?
Yeah, it helped. It helped. All that helped. I used to be in the gym 5 days a week. But yeah, all that so
turmeric,
much.
Yeah.
turmeric supplements
too,
is
yeah.
a good one for
Yeah,
anti-inflammation.
turmeric, ginger, spirulina.
We need to get some of that. Get ourselves some real deep green smoothie action.
Down, super down. And we need to buy a sauna. You're right. We need a sauna on the porch.
Okay.
Dude, I'm overdue for a good sauna sit. I was actually thinking today, I need to book a day at the Wii Spa or something.
Going back to like the kid and adult thing,
Mm-hmm.
I remember like asking my mom, like, Mom, when did it ever click in your head like, okay, I'm an adult now, or like I'm a child, or like, like when did it click? She's like, it never did. Like I've just always been this kid,
Yeah.
but trying to like be an adult, and I think that's like what everyone is, just like a bunch of big kids, just like pretending to be, what everyone wants them to be.
It's
Yeah.
so funny too. And I don't know if maybe you were like me, but as a kid, I only wanted to be an adult too.
Yeah.
You know, I always wanted more autonomy than I had. Like I always wanted more.
The autonomy is great, though.
Yeah, I love it. It's lovely. But now I look back like nostalgic about the carefree youthfulness that was, you know. It's just ironic.
Yeah.
But
Do you
yeah,
remember-
it's just I don't know if we're ever going to get away from that. Like you're always going to be looking at
you remember
previous
what-
chapters that way. What's that?
You remember not having cell phones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
I used-
like what a timestamp
I
for
know.
us, you know?
I remember not even having to type in an area code when I make a phone call.
I remember
And then the
I
one
remember that morning. Yeah, then the one. I mean, that's country code.
tricky.
I remember the progression. I remember getting a beeper. Like my dad got me a beeper
Wow.
as a kid.
You had a
Just so-
pager? At what age?
like 8 or something,
Damn.
because we were in the city.
Got to know where your kid's at.
It's
and, like,
true.
if something was
True.
happening, or you
Right.
know,
He'd be like, hey, if you see Dave, don't talk to Dave. Run away from Dave.
whatever, he would page me. Then I'd go find a payphone and call.
Wow.
It's funny. Yeah, I remember I went to the movies with a bunch of people and we had a ride arranged home, but there were too many of us to fit in one car and we only had one parent picking us up. So then me and one other person decided we were going to walk home. And we had like no reference of distance. And we walked like from Lincolnshire,
Wow.
you know,
From Regal.
yeah, from Regal
To what, back to Thorngate?
yeah. And it took forever, and I missed soccer practice because it took so long. My dad had no idea where I was that whole time.
Yeah.
And then I think I got a phone after that.
We were talking the other day that the timestamp that is like the communal family.
The
computer.
computer.
The
It was
computer.
always like in the kitchen.
Now it's
parked
like, this is
so
my computer.
publicly.
I'm going to go in my room. I'll be on my computer. But it was, at a time, for a very short amount of time, it was a thing that was in the public space of the home, in the shared space. And it was like, can I use the computer now? Like, are you done with it yet? Like,
Oh my God, and dial up.
and dial up. Like, hey, we can't
My
even make a
God,
phone
talk
call. You're
about
on
it.
dial up.
Talk about terrible ringing in the ears. The dial up sounds were so atrocious.
You know, it's funny. The Briskies never had dial up.
Wow.
We were late bloomers for the internet.
Well, you missed nothing. That
No,
sound
but the
was
Fiocchi's
terrible.
had it. I experienced it, but
It was so bad. Like of all the sounds to pick for dialing in, they really went with some harsh ones. They needed to turn down the treble.
I needed to make it real for you, like something was happening special.
Yeah, they
yeah,
did.
maybe.
It really pulled you.
Yeah, like
pulled
did
you to a
they?
place
Did someone
with
make that sound, or was that just the sound of that occurring?
I don't know, but whoever did that's probably crazy.
Somebody copyright. Somebody trademarked it. Somebody owns that sound.
Let's sample it.
Dial-up sound, but they own it. I mean, they'll sue us, but let's do it. Now we'll break it apart. I'll do a beat tonight. It'll be like somebody send me.
Good. All this little music talk has got me craving a little jam sesh.
Yeah, make a beat. We'll make a beat after this, dude. This is our second longest podcast we've ever done. Do you believe that? It's been like an hour 45.
Oh, how fun.
Holy moly.
Amazing.
You'll probably edit that down or something.
Nah, I don't. I don't do it. I refuse. It's too much work. It's easier to just watch it through. Plus, come on,
Upload.
this is good shit. This is important shit. We're gonna look back and be like, in 20 years when we're actually old, when we're 50,
20 years
and we're
from
old
now,
as
when we think
dirt.
we're as old as we're going to be.
Right,
Yeah.
when we think we're gonna think we're old, we'll look back on this and we'll be grateful it's all there. This was
Yeah, I
awesome,
think
Brown.
so.
Thank you so much, dude. Thanks for doing this, and it's just good to get to chat with you and kind of
Yeah, dude, no problem.
dig into your brain a little bit more.
My first freaking podcast.
Ooh,
What'd you think
what
about it?
an
Were you
honor.
nervous at all or anything like that?
I was, but then I was thinking like, dude, it's Paul. Like, why am I nervous? But it's just the idea of like recording what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's certain things. I feel that. Like every once in a while I'm like, what if my job finds out? Are they gonna be they're probably not gonna be excited any job I ever have that I'm so
podcast where you get
vocal.
drunk and-
I get drunk on a podcast and I'm so vocally opinionated about things. it's not great to an employer to be associated with such strong opinions. They want us to just be like little robots.
Yeah,
but
what's so scary about opinions? I think
mean,
it's a
whatever.
healthy exercise to be like, yeah. I mean, I expressed how I
I've
felt.
got them. We've got
out.
opinions. We might as well share them.
We got them. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody needs to get them.
Hey,
Sometimes you got to be careful with opinions nowadays.
They say that.
That's true. That's what makes me nervous. That's what
depends
plays
on
in
your
my head
opinion.
before I sit down.
I don't think I got any opinion that I could say right now that someone could come at me and really hurt me with.
Mister, I make jokes about 9/11. Jeez.
Yeah, but in my opinion, well, I mean, that was me 10 years ago. I also don't agree with what that person did, but that was me 10 years ago as a child,
Yeah.
Hey, go fuck yourself, Hey.
Hey,
Nah, look, we're all going to get canceled eventually. It's going to be like having an Instagram. It's just everybody's canceled and then we can fucking move on.
Yeah.
Like we just all need to get canceled. Then we're free. I'm jealous of canceled people. What do they have left to lose?
should we just get it over with?
Say the
Honestly,
N-word.
I would feel a little relieved.
Who's going to say, who will start? I'll start. No, I'm just kidding. No. I don't want to say the N-word. I think that's rude to say. But anyway, whatever. Yeah, I don't know where we go from there. Glow Kid out now on Strange Famous
Listen
Records. Go
to
check
it.
it out. Ladies and gentlemen, Alxndrbrwn.